Hi, this is Reese from CreataCRM, and today we're going to be doing our module called Service Run, which is inside of our site management services. Now, what is a service run? A service run is a scheduling of a number of sites all at once in a particular order. These things are good for field staffs, subcontractors, or any maintenance that you need to do on equipment or anything like that. Now, the industries that use it a lot are things like skipping companies, fire protection companies, field staff, anyone who's maintaining your equipment, or any regular recurrence. The key thing is that you can do a recurrence where a client goes to one site, and that's probably not a service run. But if you have a staff member who has to go out and do a number of sites all in order, and you need to position what they are and when they are, service runs are great, and we'll go through that in a particular way just to get your head around it, because Creata has so many different ways. And in this, we're going to break this video into parts because there's a lot of information to digest. So you probably want to, we're going to do one video at a time and just connect it to the other ones. Now, there's two types of service runs that we're going to be going through. One is that's a once-off service run. But remember, the goal is you really got a service run that you need to append on to a number of other service runs, and you've got to put it in order, find out what zone it is, who can do it. So really someone's called up and it's usually, something's gone wrong on equipment, and you need to work out who can do it and what run to put it into. So that's one. And then obviously there's the regular reoccurrence ones. There's the scheduled one where you would you create your intervals and the logs just keep on generating, and you just simply put them in order, choose which person goes where, and go from there. Also with that, in this video we have invoicing from service runs. There is a lot of scenarios that we have covered, so really our product is very complete in this area, and it just you probably when we go through this video, you'll digest which is the right one for you, or probably use all parts for certain parts of it. Now, there's a previous video that covers this process, and we'll go back to it. We'll probably do the same process again, just in a different particular way on each scenario as well. So, yeah, please go to those videos and even look at the documentation as well, just to get your head around it. But we'll go through this process that we've got, and probably a faster way just to cover that on a number of areas. So we'll do that as well. So let's get started on how we start a single service run. Okay, we'll start with Create, and we usually will have a company on the service run level. Now, what we're going to have is that we have in our system, we would need to create a site, because you may have a client, and there's definitely a lot of scenarios where you may have a building company or construction company who asks you to go to different sites for different locations. So it's not their site, but it's obviously a site they need to go to and record to it and invoice that they've gone to that site as well. So we start off with the company level, and then we create a new site. It's pretty simple by clicking the new drop-down menu, selecting the site. Now, by default, we'll bring in the current address of that organization in here. But for example, if it's slightly different, obviously it's not 12 Regent Street, we can just change it to something like 3 Vanessa Avenue or something like that, and Borkham Hills, and it will change it to a different location on that. So it brings a primary contact, the organization, and probably the name of the site's going to be the address. You could make it anything you want, but obviously it makes sense to do this one. So save and view that. Click on the drop-down menu and save and view. Now that will save, gives you the map of that location. You can scan the database in the system to see other locations of the map, so you can review that. And the next thing we want to do is that we want to now create a single logbook. Now we're going to just click on this drop-down menu again, create another logbook. Okay, so we're going to create a new logbook. It brings the site in. Now you've got a number of options you can do with this. You've got a due date in here that you click on the due date, so it's going to be done set for tomorrow. You can bring your products and services in here. That's great. So if it's, for example, if we do have asset management, there's a lot, but majority of our clients are finding that they don't want to manage a particular asset. They want to class an asset that they are doing a service run for, but they're not going to just have history. But we have both. You have an asset that you need to maintain on it. There's one where you're just going to bring that asset along or maintain that particular asset. This one here, we're going to just use a skipping industry. We're going to have we're going to take a dumpster with us. We're going to take to our client and drop it off there. You can do comments on here. Please drop off at site as they are constructing a building. Sorry for terrible spelling, but Grammarly will help me out with that one. Great, fantastic. So other things you've got in here, you can build a job not for this particular area. You've got a service run we can bring across, and we can bring zones in here that we can bring in different zones. Now, zones you can use it for a range of things. So you can even use zones for invoicing as well. So for example, you can have a price list on a zone. So when you actually may have a product like a 3-meter dumpster, but when it goes to a bit outside a particular area, it's going to be a different pricing structure because of the length of picking it up. It's going to cost you more. So you can zone on prices, or simply you can just zone on it for service runs. So we're going to put it in this area here. We're going to choose a person in here. We're going to probably give it to a user in the system, and bring it across where we're going to save and view that. So that's now created a particular service run on the system. Now this is open status at the moment, so we're going to go through into the next stage. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll now go to create a service run. So when you log in, you can go to the asset management section, and that's a real quick view. You can sort it this way, or you go down to inside the asset management, there's a logbook section, and this gives you all the services that you have and who they're scheduled for in the system as well. So we're going to go through and pick a particular time that we want to do service runs. So at the moment we're sorting for the open section here, and we're going to just click on this filter drop down menu to choose the week. We're going to do this week, so we're doing a service run for this week, so we're going to click on, it's in front of me, isn't it, this week, and click on OK. So we've got a group of people or companies that we have. At the moment, you've got the status, you've got the companies you're going to be doing the service runs, you've got the sites, well, the company that is responsible that we're going to be invoicing, the sites we're going to go to. We've got the users that we have, you've got the product services that you have, the ones that's connected to certain intervals, because you can do service intervals for days on there as well. That's in the other example of the other videos. You've got the zones in here as well. Now I created this one, so I can end the comments that we have here. So you can actually export this into Excel just as is anyway. There's a little export up here, and give it to your guys as well. The other things you can do is you can just inline edit. So I'm going to go look, this is going to be on zone 1, so I'm going to go just start going through and just grouping some of them into zones. So you can actually really quickly use this like Excel really quickly. I found with that also you can do is start changing the actual the users here. So we're going to be changing the users really quickly here to have users as well, and that's, oops, click on the user, sorry about that. Click on that. You're going to find you do that. So you've got to just slowly click on the pencil, not the user. Change it to user, save and close, pencil, and user again, and we're going to just go through that. Now we've assigned it to a user. Now you didn't have to do that, but if you want to have a neat printout and say John Smith, Fred, Bob, all those things, it gives you a real fast way to grab all of it, organize it quickly, because chaos happens. Bill may be sick and you've got to quickly give it to Fred. You could just say this is Fred stuff, but you can just make it neat and say it's Bill stuff, because when he sees it nicely and it's scheduled nicely, you can see who actually did it forever. So we've done that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a service run from this lookup. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on the drop down menu and select all. And that will select this lookup or group of people. And really simply, we're going to click on the Tools drop down menu and create service run. Really quickly. So that is a service run for this area. That's the dates between that service run. You can then order them in a certain way. You can start moving them up and down in here, going through the orders are here, 1 to 5, sort it onto a particular order. And you can just go through and move them up and down on particular areas that you feel. Yes, there are awesome software that can do GPS locations, all those things. We do a lot of software. We don't do everything well, but we really are a part of the product anyway, so it really helps that. So you can have the service run. You can create a nice report here that you can just run here. Let's let that run through. Now here's a report you can print out really simply. You can grab any fields, you can go up the tree, down the tree on it, you can make it looking really nice, you can email the person, you can automatically send it out, yada yada yada. And that can make it nice. You can just easily export to Excel spreadsheets as well. Again, this is the purpose of it. You have a run sheet and you go through really quickly and send it across here. So that's a particular service run there. Now, once we've done that service run for this group of people, because we remember the first thing was to do a service run for CreataCRM for 3 Vanessa Avenue for dumpster, and we had notes in here in the system. This was injected to an existing maintenance or service run. So that's the example, is that you get a call, someone wants you to pick up the 3-meter skip bin. They had it for 2 weeks, and obviously building construction sites don't know when they want you to pick it up, but when they call up, you want to pick up the next day. Pretty easy way to just inject it to Bob's service run sheet and put it in there. So once you've done that, it's complete, and we have an app for to have Bob to say, yes, I have done these things. You can then go into the logbook entries here, and you can do things like filtering the service run. There you go, we filtered this service run. So you've got the service run from that is complete. You can, Bob, for example, can say, I didn't do this. So you've got Bob the freedom to say, we're just going to pretend. Bob goes, look, nah, did not. We skipped this service run. Why? Because we wanted to. If he has an app, it's going to be much quicker than that. It's going to just be, no, I didn't do it. Then it takes it off the actual system. So you have the ability to also just simply go, no, look, that was a plan, but it didn't happen, so you don't need to invoice those people. And it goes into logs and tracks and next service run. You can singly reschedule it on there as well. The last thing you want to do is really cool, is you want to just simply create invoices from this particular lookup. So we want to just simply select all, nice select all, and we can go tools drop down menu invoice here, and that will create multiple invoices. Remember, you can one invoice or per customer invoice. You can select the products that's not connected to a dumpsters on here, and then click on OK. And that's created a number of invoices. So we'll just quickly share what that is. Okay, so the thing we're going to go to, you go to sales section here, you click on invoices. We're going to go to look at all our open invoices. And there's our open invoices that we've created in our system. So we will look at CreataCRM. That is going to show Vanessa Avenue dumpster 1 and the dollar amounts on there as well. Look, there's no dollar on it because it probably had a price list that didn't match. But you can have the price list on there and bring it across here, puts it in a draft. And if you've got a accounting system, don't worry about paid, just a system there where you just simply send that into your accounting system, and that's it. So pretty much in a nutshell, that is from start to finish of doing a service run and giving it to the guys out, and then invoicing it. It's a really easy process, but it really, our goal as our company is to speed up your business and speed up your process of your business, so you can really handle the complexities of your process, but you can choose which direction you can have and really build it. So this is the first long 15-minute part of service run. There's a few more coming through, but I'll cover that very shortly.